Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're exploring something truly extraordinary. We're looking at the story of the Mbira, Zimbabwe's instrument of memory. So go ahead and settle in, because we're going to uncover how this ancient, deeply revered instrument doesn't just play beautiful music, it literally holds the memories of 1,000 years right there in its notes.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if an instrument could hold the memories of 1,000 years? How does a physical object act as a bridge between generations? Now, if you've heard of the Mbira before, you might have heard it called a thumb piano by folks who aren't super familiar with it. We absolutely need to reframe that inaccurate, kind of reductive misconception right away. The Mbira is way more than just a simple musical device. It's a profound voice of remembrance. It's a literal keeper of history for the Shona people of Zimbabwe, and a central pillar of their whole cultural identity.
And this instrument is definitely no recent invention. It has been evolving for well over 1,000 years among the Shona people. It actually grew out of earlier lamophone instruments found all across southern Africa, deeply rooting itself in the soil of Zimbabwean cultural history. Just imagine the sheer volume of human experience, the countless generations of Shona people who've utilized its shimmering tones during ceremonies, celebrations, or even just moments of quiet personal reflection over those 10 centuries. It's mind-blowing.
Okay, let's dive into this. The physical anatomy of the Mbira basically relies on 4 essential components. First up, you have the hardwood soundboard, which forms the really sturdy, resonant foundation of the whole instrument. Second are the forged metal keys. These are incredibly carefully tuned, and the musician brings them to life by plucking them mostly with their thumbs and, occasionally, the index finger. Third is the dumb Z, which is a gourd resonator. And fourth, and this is wonderfully unique, are the bottle caps or shells attached to the instrument. The whole thing is just a true marvel of acoustic craftsmanship.
Now let's focus in on that third component for a second, the Denise. A Denise is a hollow gourd resonator that deeply enriches the Mbira's sound. But notice that intentional buzzing texture created by those attached bottle caps or shells? You know, to an ear that's used to really clean, isolated notes, this intentional buzz might seem a little unusual at first. But in traditional Shona performance, this gentle buzzing texture is absolutely essential. It adds this incredibly rich, complex sensory experience, creating a shimmering, almost rain-like effect that just fills the space and completely wraps right around you as a listener.
So how does all this physical hardware translate into actual music? Well, the Mbira doesn't just play a straightforward single melody. Instead, it creates interlocking melodic patterns. The performers actually weave complementary lines together, producing these hypnotic cycles that repeat, shift, and evolve over time. It's an intensely immersive experience, especially when you add in voices, rattles, hand clapping, and drums. The rich textures produced by these woven cycles actively encourage meditation, deep participation, and even spontaneous improvisation from literally everyone in the room.
But let's zoom out from the mechanics of the music for a minute and talk about its immense spiritual significance. And that brings us to the Mbira ceremony. This is an all-night gathering where music, singing, dance, and prayer are used to invite ancestral spirits to guide, comfort, and advise the living. The Mbira plays a central, absolutely indispensable role here. Those shimmering tones we just talked about, they aren't just there for background ambiance or entertainment. They actually serve as a sacred means of communication and healing. The music acts as a literal conduit between the physical world of the living and the spiritual realm of the ancestors. So the crucial point is this: music is inseparable from community and spirituality. For the Shona people, you simply cannot decouple the instrument from the people, their deeply held beliefs, or their ancestors. It's a sacred, communal bond. When the Mbira is played, stories are actively remembered, ancestors are honored, and the community finds real unity. It is literally the social and spiritual glue that holds the culture together across generations. Which naturally brings us to how this sacred knowledge actually survives the test of time. In a lot of Western traditions, music is locked onto a page, right? It's passed down through written sheet music. But Mbira music is entirely different. It's an organic, living tradition. Students learn by actively listening, observing, and practicing side by side with experienced master musicians. You don't read the music, you absorb it. And you play it in real time with your mentors, ensuring that human connection stays right at the very center of the education. And because it's passed down person to person in this deeply connected way, the Mbira becomes a true living archive. Every single performance carries pieces of family history, shared memories, and core cultural values. Long before books recorded the history of Zimbabwe, music carried wisdom from one generation to the next. The Mbira preserves the past dynamically through active, ongoing performance, rather than just locking it away in a quiet library somewhere.
But you know, the story hasn't stayed confined to Zimbabwe. Master musicians like Dumisani Marare Efat Majuru, Stella Chiweshe, and Chartwell Datiro played a really pivotal role in bringing the Mbira to the modern global stage. We absolutely have to honor these individuals because they bravely introduced these complex, hypnotic sounds to international audiences who had never heard anything like it before, and they did it all while ensuring the music was treated with the deep respect it commands. Thanks to those masters, the Mbira inspired some incredible global collaborations. It didn't just become a museum piece abroad, it became a dynamic influence on global music. These master musicians inspired and participated in exciting, groundbreaking collaborations with jazz artists, classical composers, folk singers, and world music artists. What's truly remarkable is that they achieved this widespread global reach and cross-cultural dialogue while firmly preserving the cultural and spiritual roots of the instrument.
And this brilliantly illustrates why the Mbira still matters so deeply today. In an age of incredibly rapid technological change, where digital trends come and go in the blink of an eye, it stands as a powerful preserver of identity, community, and connection. It reminds us that music can strengthen community bonds in a way that technology simply can't replicate. Every single shimmering note carries echoes of the ancient past, while simultaneously inspiring new voices and connections for our shared future.
As we reach our final reflection here, I want to ask you, in our era of fleeting digital media, what's going to carry our memories forward? The story of the Mbira is ultimately a profound story about memory itself. It reminds us that culture survives only when it's actively shared, practiced, and cherished together. Long before recorded history, music carried our wisdom, and the Mbira continues this beautiful, vital tradition of remembrance today, doing exactly what it has done for over 1,000 years, one note at a time.
Subscribe to Sphereblend to musical traditions, customs, and stories.